Hello, I appreciate everybody being on here today, and we're going to have a combination program today with WebEx and Matt Pardine and DMR Marketing. And our title today for what we're going to talk about is keys to building a book of business. What's more important and how you build a book of business and own your own business. Now, throughout this today, what we're going to be doing is that this is going to be a live recording. And as we do the recording at the end, we'll be sending this out to everyone, so stay on. Now, let me give you a little background about myself before we start. I don't know whether I know you or not. I've met you. I've been at this 50 years, so it's possible. But my name is Don Runge. I live in Plano, Texas, married for 50 years, by the way, and have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. They live in Frisco, Texas. I've been in the insurance business as an agent, manager, regional manager, president of a company. And for the last 26 years, we've had our own consulting practice called DMR Marketing, Inc. Probably 80% of our business has been in the senior market. It doesn't make any difference because the things I'm going to share with you, the ideas and concepts, they're applicable to anybody at whatever you work, property casualty, if you work underage, overage, it doesn't make any difference. So with that in mind, what I'd like to do is start out by telling you about raising the bar. The acronym I use is BAR. It's build, activate, and retire. Pretty simple to remember. Just if you're a weightlifter, raise the bar. If you're into goal setting, raise the bar. Whatever you can remember, don't forget the acronym BAR. You're going to build your business. We're going to talk about activating your business and talking about retiring with your business. All the important concepts. Simplify this whole mystique about the insurance business. Now, building your practice, first step, be like other professionals, but be like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are people that stick their neck out. They don't look at the clock. They work endless hours. And they got a 3-year program most of the time. The first year, they try to build their business, get their clientele, drive people to their restaurant or whatever they're doing. The second year, they implement the program that they wanted, the process real solidly. The third year, they start to reap the benefits. So it's kind of a 2 or 3 year program that people have to look at as opposed to, hey, I'm in here 3 months, what's happening? So those that are new in the business, you know what I'm talking about. Those that have been through it, you've already experienced it, so you know I validate what I've just said. First thing I want you to do, or one of the first things I want you to do, is educate yourself about your market. Now, let me want to make that kind of statement. That's kind of obvious, but it's not obvious. I found through my years of training and working with agents and managers, a lot of times you try to work and focus on product first, and then you try to find a market for it. That's like saying you set up a clothing store and you decide to build suits for 7-foot, blue-eyed people, and you find out there's only 10 of those. So really, you really need the market first. Know the market's plentiful, like the senior market, 80-some million people in the market, small businesses, all those kinds of things. Identify your market. Be laser focused. Educate yourself on the product or products you're going to sell. Now that's obvious. Again, you got to know what you're going to sell. The way you learn the products, though, by the more appointments you have and the more presentations you make, the more you understand the product. And I always say the more mistakes I make, the quicker I learn the product. So people think they know the product because they got a general feel for it. You've got to become an expert at that product. You've got to be able to talk about it, excitement and a passion, because you believe in what the product really does. Not how much commission you're going to make, but you really believe what the product does. Now, it's more important to identify a market niche than starting out with a product niche. So get that market niche down to where you are the king, you are the guru of that market niche. I became a lead guru. Well, that's my niche. I work on prospecting activity and all those kinds of things as a guru, a master trainer. Now, also, you want to overbook. You want to overschedule. You want to over-prepare. Biggest mistakes are made in the insurance business. We try to shortcut everything. We try to cut it back. You're not going to build your practice. It's going to take you years. It's like a doctor that only opens 1 day a week. He's not going to get there very well. Not too many people are going to like to see him unless it's a little quick emergency thing. So you're going to have to get the reputation that you're so busy you might not be able to see anybody this week. You want to do that. There's a mindset you have to have. Transition your focus to relationship building. Major point. I don't know how to say this to you and get it across, but the relationship building is the most important thing you want to do. You focus on building relationships. That's how you get repeat sales, longevity, and you keep your people on the books, and you'll be able to keep that book of business and then multiply the book. You won't have to start your career over every single year. Now, make a mental shift. This is not easy to do. Think like you own your business, not running your business. Too many people come in the insurance business especially, and they try to rent it because it doesn't cost that much to rent. but then you leave the business because you're not reaping the benefits and have ownership. You keep renting products and lead programs and things like that. So building your practice, you've got to look at yourself and say, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to build my own business. I'm going to pick and choose who I work and what I do. But you got to get focused once you do that. Don't be all over the roadmap. Don't jump all over the place. Remember, if you're not succeeding, it's usually because you don't have enough activity, because activity drives and it's your key to building your practice. Now, another part, you're going to talk about a fact finder. We call those inventory sheets. We call those all kinds of things. But the real essence to a fact finder is it's done by doctors, it's done by hospitals, it's done in car repair shops, lawyers do it, dentists do it. They ask you, they inventory you. Who are you? What do you do? Have you had a problem before? How's your health? That's all common, good, common sense kinds of questions. Secondly, it also shows people that you're more thorough than just saying, here's our product, how you doing, let's go. So the fact finder, whether you have a 1-page or 2-page or whatever you have, is very important because it's a combination of key questions that will get people to talk. And when they start to talk is where you start to be able to figure out how and on what basis you can do business. So why do you have the fact finder? It's a key to building that business, the key factor. It's the nucleus of everything you're going to do. So if you just wing it and yellow scratch paint and all that kind of, no problem. But if you really truly want to maximize building your practice and getting repeat business, having ownership, and having a 90% persistency on your business or better, this is a key factor in doing that. Why again? It's the resource for all your needs and future sales. It creates needs, which creates leads, which creates sales. So the needs come first, and they're going to come from me telling you, the client telling you, I don't have this, I think I need this, I want this. That's how sales pop up. Versus you saying, I got this product, you need the product. That's a hard sell. That's a hard way to do it. And how do you do this? Through good questions. You got to set up the right questions. You got to think about the questions that are going to be disturbing that you need to ask. For example, I'm sure you have health insurance. You know if you have the partial complete plan. That's a good question because it stimulates inquiry, thought process, and you start to understand. Mr. Jones, do you have life insurance? That's great. Do you have the old or new type? You need to ask the questions that get the people interacting with you so they're doing a buy-in. It's a buy-in. Professionals always ask good questions. Amateurs keep talking. So if you get to yourself into professional mode and operate like an entrepreneur that wants to own your business, quit so much talking and get into the questions. Questions make you the expert. And that's how you're going to build your practice quicker and solid and for a long time. Now, incorporate some type of lead management system. I would, if you don't have one, this is going to help you become effective in activating your practice. And this key, and one of the real keys again, there's several keys here. So if you're going to do this, get some kind of a management system. Don't just put it in your car and file folders all over your desk, and you can't be helter-skelter. If you don't have one, you can buy one. I mean, Target Lead Marketing, they got a great one. And in fact, if you're using their lead program, I don't think they charge you, but it's one of the most robust and simple ones I've ever seen. Does everything for you. And if you can't afford to do that, then buy 12 manila folders and label one January, February, March for every month of the year, and keep a copy of every fact finder you do in those file folders. And in 30 days prior to one of these key dates that you have in that fact finder or areas, you pull it up and contact the person. I'm not going to go through that whole system today, but one of the specials we're offering you today will cover this in Don Runge Live. It's one of our special training programs we're making available to you guys at a heavy discount. Kind of a Christmas present to you. So at the end, you're going to have a chance to go ahead and take advantage of that. Identify and contact your database better on more of a timely basis. Not just contact it when you want to make a sale, but contact it because you're trying to stay in a relationship format and you want to keep your name in front of them and you want to help people see all these changes that are coming up that they're going to miss the opportunity to talk to you. Today, there's more changes going on every day with the government, with healthcare, with retirement, with marketing, all over the internet, TV. It's there. And people are more disturbed today than ever in my whole entire 50 years in this business. You don't have to disturb them. You just got to contact them and know what you're going to say. Those are the critical elements in helping you build a strong practice and getting to 100 to 200 policyholders quickly, not 10 policyholders a year, not 15. You should be averaging about 50 to 100 policyholders a year. Now, building your practice, you need to accumulate 100 to 200 people. And once you get to that point, you'll have about 3 to 4 leads in every household if they're married every year. So if you got 200 and I said 3, that's 600 leads. That's about 100 sales, 75 to 100 sales. That's how that converts. So if you're really following what I'm saying to you, is building your practice takes a process and a strategy, and you got to think about this and operate with laser focus. Now, how would we activate our practice? Let me take a little sip here to keep my voice going. How do I activate my book of business? You develop a monthly or quarterly prospecting plan. Focus simply on sections of your policyholder or client profiles. All right, let me simplify that. What it says is take a look at everybody that you've sold. Take a look at everybody that you sold more than once. Kind of separate it out on those that you have your facts on and see what current events are going to be coming up, such as date of birth, their triggers, anniversaries, CD expiration, turning 65, whatever. And you just categorize these activities. And I've got a simple form for you to do this. Those are triggers that if you contact people around those key events, you're going to have a higher propensity to get appointments. You'll have a higher appointment to sales ratio. The timing is everything. So again, go back to your fact finder or your inventory. Use that as your major source identifying these prospecting targets. And look at those and create more targets. And it may take, you may contact people 5 times a year. Right now, I've asked you a question. How many of you during Thanksgiving called your policyholders, all or a portion of them, and said, I wanted to just call you to say thank you on this great holiday season. I appreciate your business. You'll get 10 to 15%. So I'm glad you called. We need to talk after the holidays. I've been thinking about this. My son needs insurance. You'd be surprised that soft touch in this high-tech environment. It's soft touch in a high-tech environment. That's critical. And since changing healthcare and retirement crisis is not going away, there are major crises in both healthcare and retirement. You're not having Don Runge say this. It's all over the news, it's documented. That's what we're in. And people want to get out of a crisis. You're in a crisis with a tsunami. You want to get out of the tsunami. So you've got all this working for you because you need to think as a marketing person to build your book of business, not as a salesperson. Now, use a structured process to cultivate the policyholder relationships. What does that mean? If you want to activate that book of business, you've been selling a lot of med supp or a lot of MAs or a lot of annuities. What you want to do is have reasons and structure so that you can go in and cross-market to these same people on a timely basis, though, not just call them out of the clear blue. Have a reason and an excuse to start a good conversation. That's what a lead becomes. It's an excuse to start a conversation. So my birthday, my anniversary, my CD expiration, in fact, I'm turning 65 or 66, or my son's graduating from college, or my grandson's graduating. Those are all excuses that you can use to make that contact. That's the process. Know your key event opportunities. Outline them. Have a structure. Have a plan. I'm going to show you a form. Organize your policies and clients with the event and product charts. They'll be coming up here. So activating. Here's our first one. It's called Product Lead Identifier. If you look at that, first there's name, and you can put down Don Runge and Maria Runge and put all the kids down. Then at the top, you list all the different product needs that you could solve. Long-term care, home health care, final expense, life, juvenile plans, med supp, med advantage, PDP, cancer, critical illness, whatever you have. Make your own page up. I'd go and print it off at Kinko's or somewhere. And what you do for each individual household, the policyholder's name is at the top, Mr. and Mrs. Runge. Then when you go back and look at this before you contact them, you look and see what they have and what they don't have. And the first time you met with them, you asked them what they thought they needed or might need in the future. So you use this chart, you bring it in and update it in the house all the time. It becomes a visual. Now, why do I want a visual? Because when you go to the dentist, you pay a lot of money to have x-rays because you won't believe that you have a cavity, but yet the x-ray shows a cavity and a potential maybe bridge or crown that could cost you $1,500 to $2,000. That dentist is telling you, I'm doing preventive management for you. And he also is setting up the next sale, by the way. He does it through x-rays. This form is like an x-ray. It's going to show people visually. Visual, you know, a visual makes up for 1,000 words, the old saying, a picture. This is a picture of what they look like. And they don't, and you put an X by everything they own and an O by what they don't own. The O, you tell them, stands for an option that they might be able to exercise, but it also might have already passed them to where they can't get it. And they say, what do you mean I can't get it? Well, your age or your health, ability to purchase could pass by you. And it goes away at a certain age and a certain health level. So again, that's a takeaway. Takeaways are great. They're not pushing product. They're saying you might be able to get this. We'd have to check it out. But I want you to know that option right now, I think, is still available, but we need to see. So that's a great way to use the product identifier. Now, retiring with your book of business. You know, it's one thing to get the book. There's another thing to keep it. A lot of people get a book of business and they lose 10, 20, 30% of their business because they're selling on rate. They're selling on product. They're not selling on marketing on relationships. The more you market on relationship, the longer you keep your book of business, the more renewals come in, the happier you're going to be. I would think that's the scenario you want. So in essence, LIMRA, Life Insurance Research Management Association, which has 1,800 companies that they do research for, says you should contact your policyholders at least 5 times a year. The guru, me, I'm saying to you at least 3 times. How's that? I backed off the 5. 5's kind of pressure. 3 I'm going to give to you. Easy process is to set up 1 to 2 days a week to contact 20 policyholders in that week, or set up 10 policyholders every Tuesday. You're going to contact 10 policyholders, and if you have the right approach, I will tell you, you're going to book 6 to 8 appointments. That's what you'll book, that many or more. So if you really focus like 1 day a week and say, Mr. Jones, this is Don Runge, how you doing? Reason I'm calling you this, I just wanted to give you a call and let you know I've been looking through your file and records, and I need to come out. I've got an idea I'd like to share with you guys that really might make a difference in your overall program this year. So it's Tuesday, better Wednesday when I come by and do that. I'll update my records and I'll be on my way if you don't have any questions. So you can use all kinds of different approaches, again, which is on our training material. Focus on prospecting triggers from your policyholder client files like date of birth, anniversary, CD expirations, holidays, Christmas. Great time to be contacting your policyholders or send them an email or a text. And the better ones you want, you really should call them and say, hey, happy holidays. Just wanted to call you. I was thinking about you. How's your family doing? You know what? We've been thinking about some stuff. About, could you come by right after the holidays? It's amazing, amazing how that little soft touch turns into nothing but, I like you guys. I'm going to stay here. I get a rate increase. So I'm not dropping my policy. I really want to be with this guy because he cares about us. He actually checks in with us. We don't have to hunt the agent down and find where you've been. How come you don't see me anymore? That's bad business. Use an effective phone approach. Example for thanking him. I'm just calling to thank you, Mr. Jones. And the other thing is there's some new things that have come out, and I've kind of looked at a couple of your options that might be running out, and I wanted to get you to look at those options so you can make a decision that you don't want to exercise them. So I've got an opening next Tuesday, and I'm working my preferred policyholders on Tuesdays. I'd like to see you at 9:01 or 9:18. So you really got to get your approach together. That's why we hesitate making calls, because we don't know what to say. And so you want to talk about product, which they don't want to talk about product. They want to talk about needs, how they're feeling, what they're going to do, options that they have, what's going to be a trigger. Look for riders or age changes. Sometimes riders drop off life policies or different programs that you have, and we don't take advantage of that. Age changes are very important because they affect rates. So have that personal information in some type of management system, some type of fact finder. Again, focus on maintaining active relationships. What does that mean? Events in people's lives are the activators. They activator. Everybody's got events in their life. You call somebody up and say, boom, they just went to the hospital. You didn't know about it. Boom, somebody picked up and all of a sudden they were healthy and now they're in a hospital and they got problems. They might become uninsurable. Things happen all day long. Cancer, for example. If you ask people, do you know anybody that has cancer? Everybody I've ever talked to said yes. And about 25% of them had it in their family. But you ever talk to them about the gaps in coverage? And cancer is one of the biggest gaps we have when you're talking about insurance. Generate 50 to 60% of your business from your policyholders to your clients. You should be converting each year policyholders into clients. If you don't, you're going to lose business. Policyholders are tentative. The relationship is more with the company than it is with you. What you want to do is make sure you convert more of that to clients. So you get 34% 30 to 40% of your business also should come from referrals. How many are getting 30 to 40% of your business every week from referrals? We call them sponsorships. Why not? Ask yourself the question. Am I selling a policy? Am I trying to sell a rate? Or am I building a relationship? Relationships cause people to tell other people about you. You can always gauge how well you're doing based upon how many referrals you get from a person, because people will volunteer if you make a great presentation. It'll happen every 1 or 2 times, every 3 presentations. 1 or 2 will say, I got somebody you need to see. And the more you contact people, the more you build a relationship, the more the referrals start to come out. You earn referrals. You don't get them because you sold a policy. Again, that material I've got very explicitly spelled out for you in Don Runge Live. Now, event lead event is the other form you want to look at. Is the same, looks the same as the other one, except this is where all your key events or triggers are. This is the trigger form. Date of birth is a trigger, anniversary is a trigger, marriage is a trigger, divorce is a trigger, retirement, annual reviews, CD expirations. There's a whole pile of them. But if you don't log this information in and you don't know when these events are coming up, you're missing the boat, because you can pass right on. Somebody can retire, you don't even know about it because you haven't talked to them in 2 years. These events are closing events. When you get an appointment around one of these events and you contact them 30 days in advance of the event, your closing ratio is going to double normally. So this is highly important. This is something we've missed in the insurance industry. These are critical times which you can pick up from your fact finder, log them in that one sheet, pull that sheet back up 30 days in advance of one of these events. And you're going to find out that your excuse when you call is a very relevant excuse, and your appointment ratio, rather than 10 to 1 on the telephone, you'll be 1 to 2, 1 to 2.5. So do you want to go 10 to 1 on a list? Do you want to chase down direct mail leads? Or do you want to really get into the semi-qualified, qualified category? This is how you do it. This is how you expand your book of business, keep it, retire with it, and have fun, make money, and help people. There's a key part. So the 8 steps in summary for raising your bar. 1, approach the market as a healthcare retirement planner or advisor as opposed to a product relationship. Use a marketing relationship. Again, marketing is your key to building a relationship. Selling is not the key. Selling is a result of good marketing and a relationship. Memorize your appointment scripts, whether you go to the door, whether you sell on the phone, whether you go to seminars. Memorize good objection responses. All you need is 1 or 2, but memorize them. Don't ad lib. They'll get you in trouble. I would send a thank you note. Email it. I like a personal handwritten thank you note, especially if you're working the senior market. There's still soft touch in the high-tech market. Recognize the key events I've talked about. You looked at the form. I gave you some ideas besides date of birth, anniversary, etc. Then the last thing is turn those policyholders into clients. That's a great. Grade yourself on how many policyholders are converted each week into clients, or each month, each year. That is something you can grade yourself on very easily. Now, I gave you a lot of information in a short period of time. That's the reason that as we do this, I open up to questions at the end, and then we'll talk about our special offer. So why don't we take some questions now? All right, don't be shy. Oh, and one came in. Don, how often should you really think I should contact my people, my policy? I said 3 times, and I'm not kidding. You do it on birthdays and anniversaries to married couples, that's easy. But at least 3 times a year, have an excuse to make that contact to your policyholders. Here's another question from, looks like New Jersey. Let me read through this. Oh, you're asking me, Don, those forms. Well, yeah, the forms I showed you, the product identifier and event identifier, you can get that information from our material, our training material. And they do work. I have people working, I have estate planners even using those forms. They're phenomenal. Don, you're asking me now, you're talking about activating my book of business, yeah? Now, when I do that, well, what you got to look at, first of all, you got to look at how do you activate it? You activate it by calling them, by sending them a note. I would pick out those people, whether it's 8 or 10 or 5 a week of my policyholders, and I would make sure I have a structured program and make them feel real good about my call. Hi, Mary and Bob, how you doing? This is Don. Listen, as my business has grown, I'm now setting aside 1 day a week where I work with my preferred policyholders, because with the healthcare, expanding healthcare and retirement crisis, I got to keep you more updated on what's going on, because there's some major changes that keep happening. In fact, Mr. Jones, I'm going to bring that Medicare and You book back again, and we're going to review some of those things that are very critical to you. If it's a younger couple or underage, the reason I got to talk to you now, you need to do pre-Medicare planning early on. Start to your 50s and start doing pre-Medicare planning. Why? Because you have an advantage for solving some of your needs before you become 65. It's lower cost. It's a lot easier on your health, a lot easier to get the program. And once you've got it, then they can't take it from you. Okay, I see another question coming in. Don, do you recommend sending out pre-approach letters? I look at it this way. My major thing is mailing. There's about 6 million pieces of mail that go out a week to seniors alone. Small businesses get all kinds of mail. I would just use an approach where I wouldn't have to do a lot of mail. Now, I may do a mail drop, but if I do the mail drop, I'm going to buy the list. I'm going to buy the non or late responder list. And I'm going to set up a call program to the people I can call. And then I'm going to do a program. I might send out a thank you card to all the ones that I can't call. And that is that's a bonus program on our Don Runge live training material. All right, I don't see any more questions. I didn't want to keep you that long. So what I'm going to do now is tell you about the offer we said we're going to make. This is kind of a Christmas offer for you all. This is no lie. This is 5.5 hours of training about materials I've covered with you in detail. It's like a bachelor's degree in prospecting, lead training, marketing, handling objections. This is normally $119 retail price. You're going to get it today for $59. All you have to do is you go to www.leadguru.com/, you can see it, product/webinar 59 special. It's good for 48 hours. It's Thursday, December 14th. You can use the Guru 59 at checkout and copy and paste this link to take advantage of this exclusive offer. Why pay more when you can get a great program and help you expedite and raise your bar? Thank you for being here and have a great holiday season.